What if the greatest conqueror in history didn't build his empire with just cannons and cavalry, but with clever accounting tricks that turned a bankrupt nation into a war machine capable of dominating a continent? Imagine discovering how a broke France, fresh from revolution's chaos, funded endless battles through hidden revenue streams, smart taxes, and a blockade that backfired, spectacularly secrets that echo in today's global finance wars. Hang on, because the most mind-blowing parts are at the end, the fatal flaws that doomed it all, plus eerie parallels to modern deficits and sanctions that could reshape your world. These untold lessons might just reveal how to spot the next big economic trap before it hits. Watch to the finish for the game-changing insights. Napoleon Bonaparte didn't dominate Europe through weaponry alone, he achieved it via documents, official stamps, and financial records. Supporting the roar of cannons was a subtler operation involving fiscal managers, legal experts, lenders, and administrators who maneuvered figures with the precision of commanders directing troops. The common portrayal emphasizes the tactical brilliance, the unexpected triumphs, the bold advances, yet that overlooks a crucial element. His realm expanded because he transformed France's economic framework. He grasped a principle eluded by prior leaders: a country might overpower adversaries temporarily through combat, but enduring superiority demands superior fiscal management. This narrative, often omitted from lessons, details how a youthful islander, taking charge of a depleted treasury post-upheaval, reconstructed a monetary structure robust enough to sustain over a decade of conflicts, legal overhauls, and advancements. At the century's close, France resembled a facade of grandeur masking ruin. The old regime had succumbed to its obligations, with monarchs accruing loans for battles and extravagances while relying on a revenue mechanism that spared the affluent and burdened the masses. The 1789 upheaval dismantled the hierarchy but left the calculations intact. The emerging order attempted a quick remedy with unsecured notes linked to seized religious properties. Initially, it seemed effortless, providing funds without immediate sacrifice, until escalation spiraled uncontrollably. Prices surged wildly, assurance crumbled, and routine commerce suffered from skepticism. Forces advanced in makeshift gear, while obligees insisted on solid forms over assurances. The nation possessed ideological drive but lacked economic foundation. Entering this turmoil in 1799 as initial leader, at just 3 decades old, he combined martial expertise with analytical foresight. He prioritized reliability above all. To lead forces, one must first secure a stable medium. Thus, he established an institution blending elements, avoiding past pitfalls of favoritism or unchecked issuance. In the new century's dawn, he authorized a central entity where independent backers supplied funds, and governance offered oversight and benefits. This hybrid prevented reversion to manipulated expansions or elite dominance. It handled trade discounts, ensured smooth settlements, and issued limited circulating notes in the capital. The signal to traders was clear: transactions would process reliably, compensations would retain purchasing power. To bolster this, he revamped the central coffers into an efficient entity, appointing a skilled overseer to handle public finances with unprecedented rigor. Inflows consolidated, obligations inventoried and reduced, improvisation gave way to meticulous tracking. Additionally, he introduced a tender rooted in verifiable standards. By 1803, the unit was pegged to specific metallic measures, restoring tangibility after volatile eras. This wasn't mere preference, it rebuilt faith among producers and personnel, ensuring consistency in dealings. Yet a medium's strength derives from supporting collections. Recognizing prior inefficiencies fostering graft and discontent, he centralized operations. For key streams, territorial assessments, individual and asset charges, occupational permits, and various duties were refined and rigorously applied. Field agents documented accurately, comprehensive surveys mapped properties objectively, eliminating favoritism. In 1807, an oversight body was formed to monitor expenditures with campaign-like precision, embedding verification as integral to operations. With foundations solidified, attention shifted to sustaining prolonged engagements without repeating past fiscal pitfalls. He approached hostilities as operational ventures. Successes generated inflows through penalties on subdued foes, acquisitions of supplies accounted precisely, and regions under control contributing to their overseers. Domestic reserves avoided extreme pressures as forward positions self-sustained during advances. Following key triumphs like 1,806 engagements, reparations arrived, subsequent pacts amplified contributions. The structure functioned as an ongoing generator while momentum held. He diversified sources further. In 1803, a vast overseas territory transferred to an emerging power for substantial payment, prioritizing immediate resources and strategic denial over distant holdings. Disordered areas were organized into productive zones with standardized rules, barriers reinstated, collections timetabled. He even fostered local lending facilities to support enterprise amid mobilizations. The true challenge emerged with elements beyond mastery. Attempting to isolate a maritime rival via a widespread restriction in 1806 aimed to deprive adversaries of commerce, theoretically without direct clash. Conceptually sound, it faltered against practical motivations. Illicit flows proliferated, vessels disguised origins, communities enabled survival. The measure strained partners, breeding dissatisfaction, while the target pivoted routes and mechanisms. Coastal activities diminished, distortions arose. A tool intended for opposition inadvertently harmed supporters. Adaptations involved intensified monitoring, confiscations, penalties, highlighting a key insight for contemporary strategists admiring his efficiency. Compulsion extends directives temporarily but can't supplant market forces. Regions resist imposed scarcity indefinitely, pathways emerge, resources divert to containment, rigidity increases. Triumphs temporarily masked tensions, but equations shifted. Catastrophic Eastern ventures in 1812 devastated not only forces but ledgers. Irreplaceable investments in personnel and logistics vanished in extremes, prearranged stores lost, inflows reversed to reconstruction demands. Supporters grew cautious, even robust systems strained under unprecedented loads. Remarkably, the apparatus endured beyond his tenure. Upon the capital's capture in 1814 and his removal, core elements persisted: the institution, the standard, the oversight, the collectors. France gained lasting infrastructure. This underscores his enduring impact. He not only expanded but systematized, demonstrating integrated governance, finance, and order could persist independently. Examining closely, his period offers guidance for today. Frameworks reliant on perpetual external gains, penalties, acquisitions, or contemporary equivalents like sustained borrowing harbor vulnerabilities. They normalize elevated commitments, expanded capacities, administrative growth, ambitious undertakings. Disruptions, environmental, conflictual, cyclical, expose mismatches when anticipated supports falter. Responses often involve accelerated issuance, urgent loans, reliance on sentiment, sometimes effective, often not. Chronicles documents such decisions' outcomes. Reflect on his successes that transcended. A tender grounded in verifiable bases provided psychological stability post-volatility, facilitating affordable credit through perceived reliability. This enabled developments from infrastructure to trade. Administrative precision yielded not just funds but insights. Mappings informed investments, verifications ensured equity. Legal uniformity streamlined resolutions, fostering lending by clarifying protections, effectively boosting circulation under judicial guise. Yet fragilities mirror current reflections. Attempts at isolation ignored incentives, fostering evasion and internal costs. Dependence on continuous progress conditioned vulnerabilities to halts, revealing limits when escalations exceeded capacities. This extends beyond antiquity. Analogous setups prevail: hybrid overseers, credible mediums determining reach, efficient collections, verifiable oversight, consistent protections fueling activity. Yet temptations of unchecked extensions or commitments risk overextension, where normalization precedes reckoning. For audiences, implications include viewing fiscal literacy as essential engagement, decipher announcements for impacts, recognize reforms' implications, appreciate legal stability's role in flows. Prosperity transcends fluctuations, root in manageable streams, valued abilities, resilient holdings amid constraints. Moreover, resources and authority interconnect, effective alignment propels ambitions, disregard invites slides. Visualizing records alongside strategies, his alignment enabled feats, misalignments precipitated reversals. Precedents illuminate.